This person is staring at me on the phone. What you doing, homeboy? What, do you think I'm doing donuts or something? God. Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is one that I know you guys have been looking forward to. I've seen the comments. Evan, where's the 4.0? Did you sell it? Did you part it out? What happened to it? She's still here. She's just been hibernating, covered in snow. So today's video is one that I know you guys have looked forward to for a long time because I haven't filmed much with this car, so I'm excited to bring it out, film some videos. If you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you like Mustangs, well, then this is the channel for you because I got a handful of them. And if you like e-bikes, I got those. I got a whole bunch of stuff, and I got a big forehead. So, you know, subscribe because you'll get a laugh or two out of it. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. But guys, drop a like. Come on. Helps your boy out a ton. Do it for the big forehead. Love y'all. Let's get into the video. Ooh, it is windy, guys. Hopefully the audio is not too bad. I'm gonna keep this short on the outside of the car. I'm gonna get back in. But for those that are new to the channel, this is my 2005 Mustang V6, my 4.0, and as you can tell, it is not stock by any stretch of the imagination in terms of appearance. But yeah, here she is. I'm gonna give you guys a quick walk around, then we're gonna get inside the car so that way you guys can actually hear me talk because the wind is crazy. Let's show you guys the back real quick. Now, if you guys have been subscribed for a while, you're gonna notice there's a big difference. I got rid of my taillights, but let's get inside the car and talk about it. All right, guys, so quick backstory on this car. I bought this car when I was 18. Right now I'm 26, so do the math there. It's almost 10 years, give or take a little bit, but you know, it sounds good for the title and thumbnail. But I've had this car for a very long time. I bought it in 2014. The car only had 33,000 miles, so extremely low mileage. It was a garage queen. There was no modifications done to it. It's bone stock besides a GT500 spoiler. So I figured at that time, I didn't know the difference between a V6 and a V8. I just knew a Mustang was a Mustang and I wanted a cool car. You know, at 18, that's like the coolest thing you can get, right? You want a cool car to, you know, flex. So got this car, then I started learning a lot about it. So I'm gonna show you guys the interior and the exterior, some of the things that have maybe aged a little bit, and then I'm gonna talk about reliability. We're gonna go over the whole nine. It's gonna be a good video, so stay tuned, watch the whole thing through and through. If you're interested in buying one of these cars, I have lots of videos on my channel kind of talking about the pros, the cons, things I love, things I hate, all of that's good stuff, but I'm gonna kind of summarize that all in this video, so stay tuned, watch this one, it'll be a banger. Since we're in the inside, let's talk about this. So when I got this car, like I said, almost 10 years ago, there was nothing wrong with it. Everything worked flawlessly. The only little things here and there, you know, this little plastic will get scuffed up. The person before me was probably a female. Only reason I'm saying that is maybe their nails or whatnot kind of ate away at some of the finish, but that is fine. This is almost a 20-year-old car. It did not bother me. It is, you know, no big deal. But in the past year or so, this has become a pain in my butt. We're idling right now, and we are definitely not at 3,500 RPMs. My gas gauge is saying we are negative half a tank. We're currently overheating, battery's good, and we have no oil. And at a complete standstill, we're moving at 16 miles per hour. So these are very, very common to go wrong on the 4.0. This whole gauge cluster is pretty much shot. Now, I've seen some people be like, oh, you know, the odometer's all jacked up. No, that is electronic. That is fine. So, for example, like my gas, I can see the accurate mileage of how much gas I have left. It's just this does not work the way it's supposed to. So that is kind of frustrating a little bit just because, especially the speed, I mean, granted, once you know what it's at, you just add, you know, 16 onto whatever speed it shows or subtract it. You know, little annoyances here and there, but it's not too bad. Another thing that's happened over time is the door cards. Now, this is such an eyesore to me. I can't stand this. This one looks like a saggy diaper. It's starting to peel up. This is inevitable. So if you guys are in the market for one of these cars, this stuff is going to happen. It is literally just a matter of time, especially the door cards. What you can do, a quick remedy to this, is you could get the adhesive off and you can either put it right back on. You can use like a spray adhesive. Otherwise, they sell like plastic inserts on eBay that'll just, you know, fill in this whole spot and you won't have to worry about that happening again. With the gauge cluster, the only way to fix it is to take apart the dash and you got to replace the little stepper motors. I am not even going to remotely deal with that. That is just a headache on its own and I don't know anything about that stuff. So it is what it is. This people will replace like, you know, a double din or whatever. I don't care. It is what it is. But let's talk about the trans, right? So here's another one. Now, I don't want this video to be like, you know, me trash talking the car. I'm just giving you guys everything that has happened since I bought it to where it is now. There's going to be some good, there's going to be some bad. So let's keep talking, but let's get into the transmission. So the good old trans, the 5R55. This thing, when I bought it, seemed totally fine. In the past, we'll say like 3 years, I've kind of noticed when it's cold, it gets a little clunky. And I had taken it to Ford and I said, hey, can you guys check like the trans fluid? Like it just, something seems a little off. Now I'm not mechanically inclined whatsoever, but it didn't seem right. There's definitely seemed like there was something kind of weird with it. So they checked it. They said the fluid levels were fine. I did a little bit more research and found out these transmissions are kind of plagued from the get-go. So once I found out about that, I was kind of bummed. I was like, okay, well, that's weird. And then really this year, so this past winter, we'll say the last 6 months, second to third, the shift, it's weird. It only happens sometimes. Man, it'll go, you know, 1, 2, and then as soon as third gear is about to engage, it'll go boom, and then it'll catch itself. It's like the clutch is slipping, or if a synchro, I don't know. Again, I'm not technically inclined whatsoever, or mechanically inclined, but something's weird there. But then other times it doesn't do it. So I don't know what's going on there. I know these transes are prone to issues, so I'm hoping it doesn't totally blow out on me. The past like couple weeks, it hasn't done it, and it's been freezing cold. So I don't know what sparks it, what doesn't. To cause it to do that, I'm not too sure, but fingers crossed she doesn't blow up, because then I'll be really sad, and I don't know when I want to replace it, because now that we got the 5.0, yeah, it's like I've been kind of dailying that car. So hopefully this one doesn't go bad, but I got to give the car credit in terms of the trans. Even though it does that little, you know, wonky stuff, it's good. I've never been stranded. It hasn't lost a gear yet, but it has been very, very good so far. So that is a plus, but a future negative that I feel is coming. By the way, let me show you guys the mileage. So for those wondering, you probably saw it earlier, this car only has 56,840 miles. It was a garage queen, and now it sits outside. I have way too many cars. So yeah, this one has been pushed to the outside, hence you guys can see the snow, but it's no big deal. She's still pampered, still really clean, and you're probably not going to find a 4.0 with that mileage, you know, really much anywhere nowadays. But seats held up really, really good. I don't know how much people care about that, but this is the premium, so it has the leather seats. I mean, guys, look, there's not even a wrinkle in this one. Floor mats, I got these on eBay. I get that question all the time, but these have held up really, really well. The actual dash itself held up really well. Headliner, not saggy, nothing like that. So everything else is super, super good. So let's move to the exterior, talk about some of the things I've noticed with these cars. All right, guys, so moving to the exterior, this car has gone over a pretty insane transformation compared to stock. I'll put up a picture on the screen of how I got it. It looks nothing like it used to. This car was in a front end accident. Oh man, it's probably been like 7 years ago. I got into a small fender bender, and I decided, why would I go with the stock front end when we could do a front end like this? So it is the GT front bumper, the CDC chin spoiler, the Cervini's 4-inch cowl hood, bullet grill, wheels. We're on Ford Star F14s. It's a 20 by 9.5, 20 by 11 setup, or 20 by 9, 20 by 11. It looks really, really good. The car does have some tint. It's not very dark. That was done before I got it. I think it's like 35 or 50 on the sides, but then the back is kind of more of like a limo. It is lowered on SR Performance lowering springs, which is a real nice fit, perfect for daily driving. Moving to the back, we have the GT500 spoiler. I'm sorry, I know the wind noise is terrible. SLP power flow exhaust, but let's get back in the car and we'll talk more about it. All right, so I showed you guys the engine, but there's nothing going on under there. So the motor is completely 100% bone stock. I didn't want to do any performance modifications to this car, because if you do some research on them, you realize they don't really take the mods all that well. What I'd recommend for someone that has a 4.0 that wants to make this kind of more performance-based, do gears if you have an auto. So do like 410s or 373s. Do a LSD, so a limited slip diffs. That way both wheels will spin. And then, like, you know, if you want to do an intake, tune, exhaust, I think that's going to be kind of a well-rounded combo. You're not going to be the fastest. These 4.0s are never going to be the fastest, but they'll be really, really fun. Now, why did I not go down that route of wanting to do performance? Because I wanted this car to be reliable. Cars that break scare me. I don't want to deal with the headaches. I don't like when cars are down. So I always tend to lean on the more aesthetic side of things compared to going like crazy performance stuff. What is this? This person is staring at me on the phone. What you doing, homeboy? What do you think, I'm doing donuts or something? God. So that leads me into the next thing, is a lot of people with this car, they see the 4-inch cowl hood, they think that I'm some hot boy street racer. I guess you can kind of expect that with this hood, but it is bone stock. Now let's talk about reliability, because that's kind of, you know, again, like I was just touching on, the most important thing for me. This car is extremely, extremely, extremely reliable. It has its quirks, but I've never been stranded. I've never had any, you know, expenses in terms of repairs for damages that weren't, you know, besides the accident, which was, that was your boy's fault. Kind of botched that one, but the car's been extremely, extremely reliable. And that for me, especially, you know, at 18, you don't have a ton of money to replace things. You don't want to be at the shop spending all your money. I was working at a grocery store at that time, so your boy didn't have much change, you know, set aside. You know, gas insurance at that age on a car like this is also not the best, but it was everything I had hoped for. It was super neat, and the car has been flawless mechanically besides the little glitches and all that good stuff. So to kind of conclude this video, this is going to be a short one. Like I said, I'm summarizing kind of the whole big picture here. If you guys want to see more videos about the 4.0, if you're new to the channel, go back. I have like literally 100 videos on this car, and pretty much anything you could imagine, I have a video on it. Otherwise, feel free to drop a comment below. I try to respond to every single comment, so any specific questions you guys have, ask me. But to those that are looking at buying a 4.0, I'm going to lay it out here real quick in the next minute or two. Expectations you should have. One, you're not going to be fast. Let's just get that out of the way. I see this all the time. I'm going to buy the 4.0, I'm going to do a turbo. I'm going to buy the 4.0, I'm going to do a supercharger. I'm going to put 150 shot of nitrous. No, you're not. Like, let's get that out of the way. A lot of the guys that are young are buying these because they're affordable. Enjoy the car. They're quick. They can sound good. Please don't do a straight up muffler delete. These cars can get really raspy. Just buy an axle back. It'll sound really, really good. So do yourself a favor in that respect, because just straight piping these is no good. No, no, no. Videos, they kind of sound okay, but in person, I had a friend that did it. No bueno. Even though I contemplated it for a while because I wanted to be obnoxious. Don't do it. It's not the right tone. But they're really good. Now, a couple recommendations. Number one, if you're buying one with an automatic, if you feel the trans slipping or doing anything funky, run. Like, don't walk away, run away. Because like I said, they're prone to go bad. So if you're already experiencing symptoms, not worth it. You're about to be in for a pretty big bill, and it's not going to be pretty. I highly, highly recommend going with the 5-speed in these cars. I think they're T45, if I'm not mistaken. It might be a 3650. But either way, those transmissions are much more stout, so you're not going to have as many issues compared to the 5R55. Now, a lot of people are going to bring up like the whole, you know, maybe like a 3-valve. So you have this, and you have the 3-valve, which is the GT version or the V8 version of this car. There is kind of a pretty decent price difference between a 4.0 and a 4.6. I think the 4.0 is the perfect car for someone that's young or someone that just wants to get into a car that doesn't care about performance. Now, this is your first Mustang or first kind of, we'll say, performance car, and you think that you're going to mod it. I highly suggest kind of taking a step back and evaluating what your long-term goal is. If you're going to go for performance, if you're going to go for racing, you're going to go for that style, I would say stay clear of the 4.0. There's going to be people that chime in the comments, oh, I got mine to do this much, I can make it, you know, make this much power. Can you? Yes. Should you? Probably not. Now, again, I'm just some guy that's owned this car for 10 years. I'm just some small YouTuber. My opinion really shouldn't matter. I want you guys to do whatever makes you happy. But as someone that owns this, that owns a Cobra, a 2003 Terminator Cobra, owns a 5.0, I have the fast cars and I have the fun cars, and I have a 17 Silverado. So I got a whole bunch. This car I love. Like, I just got the Coyote, and I could have traded this car, could have sold it, and I wouldn't, because I love it, because it's just special in the respect that it was the first car I ever bought on my own, and it's been so reliable, and it's kind of what helped to bloom this channel. So for me, you know, take everything I say with a grain of salt. If I didn't like these cars, if you felt I was bashing the car, that's like not the point, because I still have it. I love it. You know, I could have gotten rid of it, but I wouldn't. So there you guys go. I've been rambling for a while now. I hope that kind of makes sense to you guys. If you want me to film more videos on this, drop it a like. Let's say, I don't know, let's aim kind of high, because I got a lot of Coyote content to make now. And plus, spring is on the horizon. Tomorrow we have the leap forward, or the day you guys are watching this, we have the time change thingy. So your boy's gonna have more light, so after work we can film more videos. The Sur-Ron videos are popping, like going nuts. So that's sick. I'm super excited about that. But your boy is rambling, so there you go. That is my 10 years of ownership in a nutshell, kind of what to expect if you're getting into one of these. You know, and we'll do little cliff notes. Love it. It's not fast. It won't be fast. It's reliable. If you're going to look at one and it has any little quirks, kind of steer clear of it and maybe contemplate other options unless you're mechanically inclined. If you are, then, you know, don't worry about it. Go for it, and you can easily fix it. So there you guys go. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop a like. It helps your boy out a ton. I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next upload. Peace out.